Okay, thanks for joining us. I'm Alex from IT Wire. As you know, you're reading this article. I'm here with Sébastien Duquette. He is a malware researcher at ESET, and he is here for the AVAR conference. This is the Association of Antivirus Asia Researchers, and ESET has coincidentally had its two-day partner conference over the past couple of days. Today's a bit of a crossover day, and the next couple of days is the AVAR conference. Sébastien is going to be presenting a paper on some of his findings, and it's a conference where a lot of different companies are there. Now, ESET is a antivirus vendor. They've got products for PCs, for Macs, for Android, and also lots of things for the enterprise as well. So, a well-rounded company. Sébastien, welcome. Thanks for being part of the interview today.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And tell us a little tiny, I've already mentioned or introduced ESET, but tell us a little bit about ESET and tell us about your work as a malware researcher.
Yeah, so as you have said, ESET is a software security products vendor, and our main product is antivirus for the PC and Mac, but we also have other products for phones and for the enterprise. As far as my work, I'm part of a team in Montreal where we do research on the topic of malware and everything around it. So in the last few years, I've worked on topics such as exploit kits, Linux malware, targeted malware, which is part of the topic of my the paper I will be presenting at AVAR this year.
Now, I'm guessing most of the people watching know what an exploit kit is, but what's the short definition from you?
Yeah, an exploit kit is basically a software package that is used to try to exploit vulnerabilities in software that you have in either your browser or the plugins that you have on your browser, and try to infect your computer with malware. And it's a method of attack that is being really used massively on the internet to infect computers at the moment.
And what's your research paper about, the one that you're presenting?
Yeah, the topic of my research paper is about, so the long form, the title is the exploitation of CVE 2014-1761 in targeted attacks. Mm-hmm. But in the plain English, basically this year in March, Microsoft announced that there was a vulnerability in Microsoft Office in the RTF format that was being used in the wild, so to target companies. And we looked at what were the payloads, which specific malware were being distributed with this vulnerability, and we found out that it was mostly for targeted attacks for what we usually call the APT groups.
Advanced Persistent Threats.
Exactly, and really a specific profile that they constantly attack, try to get into a set of specific targets, and it had exactly that profile. So what I did is compare the exploits that were used by those different groups to see if we could find relationships or links between them. And part of the result is that I found some links between two groups that were not already known to be linked together, and this is not conclusive evidence that the groups are working, but at least they seem to be sharing some tools. So that's I think it's an interesting finding from the analysis I did.
Sure. And before we get on to some of the other threats that you're seeing, you were talking about malware on Linux and rootkits. What's some of the things that you've discovered there?
It's a very interesting topic. Last year we published, at the beginning of this year we published a report called Operation Wendigo, and it's the result of more than a year of work where we actually found that there was a very large botnet, and it still exists to this day. There's a very large botnet that is composed of Linux servers, and what they do is they put backdoors in the OpenSSH binaries. OpenSSH is used to manage usually the servers, and also in Apache, which is the typical HTTP server. And with that, they managed to infect even more computers, most of them on the Windows platform. But this was very, I think, enlightening, because people have this this image that Linux is kind of
invulnerable, like Mac.
Exactly, and that there's not really a malware problem on those platforms. But what we actually found is that people are really surprised that when we tell them we found when we contact some of the infected servers, the people that manage them are really surprised. And for this reason, I think it takes a really long time before people clean up their servers when it's infected with malware, when it's, for example, Linux servers.
Yeah.
So that was definitely one of the big analysis that we did in the past, past years.
This botnet, was it stealing information from the servers in terms of transactions or the information that was being stored on the servers? I know you mentioned it was attacking Windows machines. I mean, it sounds like it was trying to do everything.
It's a very good question, and it's something that we looked into a lot because we expected that this might be something they would be doing, but actually they were not. The main thing they were interested in is keeping access to those servers so that they can use it afterwards to distribute other malware for Windows. And I
mean, they would have been infecting web pages as well to try and
exactly
exploit Windows machines.
Yeah. So they basically inject little snippets of JavaScript to redirect the people that are visiting the websites that are hosted on those servers to exploit kits and then try to infect the computers. So they are actually trying to stay a lot under the radar.
Yeah.
They use very interesting techniques. For example, they will do a rotation between the servers, so they won't use all of the servers at the same time. They use them a couple of days and then switch to another one.
Yeah.
So
they're very cleverly trying to hide.
Exactly. And so yeah, that's something we thought they might be doing, like trying to steal data, banking data that might go through those systems, but that's not something that we saw at this point.
And presumably ESET had software that could detect this and clean it up.
Yeah, we also have versions of our products for the Linux platform. So that's something that people could use to help them. We're also providing, in this specific case, we provided some scripts that you can use to check if your system is compromised or infected by this thing, and also some what we call indicators of compromise, which are things you can look for on your system to see exactly if you are affected by this thing.
Yeah. So what are some of the other big threats that your ESET in general is seeing, or that you're looking at, besides what you already told us?
There's really a lot of stuff. Of course, the Windows platform is still the biggest source of malware. We've seen a lot of interesting development in the past few years. I think something that is causing a lot of headache currently is the ransomwares.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a very big problem because it's kind of an evolution of the fake antivirus products, and then the locker, so the software that would block your computer, so that you have to pay a fee to unblock it. Yeah. But the fact that now they're using cryptography to lock encrypt your files, this is much worse, because if you don't have backups, you will lose your data.
Well, I mean, antivirus can't unencrypt something, or at least not yet.
No, it depends on how well the crypto is implemented. There are actually some cases where they got it wrong, so it's possible to decrypt the files, even though we might not have the initial key. But that's definitely not something people should
take for granted.
Exactly. Yeah. So really the best thing is to have a backup of your files. Multiple backups. And very important also is to have your backup separated from your computer.
Otherwise they'll be encrypted too.
Exactly, yes. That's something we saw quite often. People have backups, but it's on for example, a USB disk, and they keep it connected all the time. So when the malware gets on the system, it encrypts all the files, and then it's really a
off-site backups, online backups, cloud, everything.
Yeah, and the more backups you have, the better. You mentioned cloud backups. That's a very good strategy to have. Maybe you have one of your backups on a USB drive, another one one of the cloud providers. That's a very good strategy to have.
And what are you seeing? I'm not sure if it's your area, but what are you seeing in terms of all the Android malware that we always hear about?
Yeah, that's Android is something I work less on, but there's definitely a lot of movement, a lot of things going on this level. The ransomware, we saw the first samples of those things getting onto Android. So
right.
they will.
I think I missed that story. So that's pretty incredible. Ransomware on your phone.
Yeah, so they will encrypt files on your on your phone and
or tablet, I suppose.
Well, for the Android platform,
yeah.
I don't think we saw anything concerning Mac, but
sure, no, but I meant tablet, as in Android tablet.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So that's another that's another thing you have to be careful with. The malware still is also a problem on the phone platforms. Yeah.
And so, what else do you think you'll be learning from the conference, from some of the other presenters?
I'm really looking forward to the conference, to the presentations. Like you said, there's people from many other, for example, antivirus companies, but security vendors of all kinds, and there's a lot of different topics. Some are more, I would say, on the management side of the problems, but others are very technical. So I don't remember any specific talk in specific,
but you're coming to learn and to see what everyone else is sharing.
And I think there will be great stuff this year again.
Sure. And any final messages you'd like to tell to ITY readers besides backup?
Yeah, well, I think it's most of those problems is really a matter of what I would say like general hygiene. So you mentioned backups; it's very important. Keeping your software up to date. I think that's the main problem people should, because if you are careful with which websites you go to, if you're careful not to click on links or attachments in your emails, the main thing that I would worry about is, do you have up-to-date software? If you don't, it's very risky to get infected, but if you keep your software up to date, then it reduces the risk a lot. But yeah, just be careful and try not to worry too much about those things and still enjoy the good sides of the technology.
Okay, thank you very much.
And thanks to you.